Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Today y Mañana. I'm Alex. This is Xavier. We're very excited to have you joining us this morning on a very beautiful morning. A beautiful morning here in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's a perfect morning. There's just enough slight chill in the air for you to grab your café con leche and get down in your cozy spot and watch or listen to some Today y Mañana this morning. Be sure to
like and share.
There you go.
Thank you.
Share. Send us your comments, questions for any of our amazing guests. We're going to be joined very shortly by Stacey Chapman, the owner of Westwind Flowers, as well as by Chris Jeffery, the owner of First Choice Home Maintenance. So two fantastic local entrepreneurs that are going to be joining us this morning on Today y Mañana. Be sure, just want to say we love being here on the I Love CVille Network set, so you can watch us across a lot of I Love CVille Network. I know some of you are watching us on the Today y Mañana page. Thank you for that. Some watching in I Love CVille, the group. Some of you watching on I Love CVille, the page. Some of you watching on my personal page. We already have some people liking today's show. Utlmana de Dos and Angeli. I think that is Claudia Cruz. Cruz's mom is joining us this morning. Thank you so much for liking the show this morning. Miguel Corradin, thanks for liking the show this morning. Nicholas Urpí, Jerry Miller, thank you for watching this morning. So really appreciate everyone who is joining us. We've got a lot to cover today. As always, we're presented by Emergent Financial Services. We are powered by our friends, speaking of Miguel Corradin, our friend Miguel and Chit from Craddock Sirius Insurance. They were there at the Amplify Your Voice conference on Friday, a great gathering of Latino entrepreneurs just celebrating all that we do in the community in terms of home ownership, real estate professionals. You had insurance, you had finance, you had so many amazing entrepreneurs.
Which was perfect because I highlighted the professionalism of that community, right? It's not just restaurants or landscaping. It's that they're growing in areas that it's exactly what we needed to see, and it's happening. So it's wonderful.
Absolutely. So there's a lot going on to be excited about from an entrepreneurship and Latino entrepreneurship perspective here in Charlottesville. Also want to thank, of course, we love partnering with the Gym CVille, with Aqua CVille Hand Car Wash, very sorely needed as radweed season has begun. I can attest to that personally. That is very helpful to get your car clean when
you can always tell us now. So when any part allergy season comes, you let us know.
Exactly.
I know that.
I am there.
Incredible.
What's it called? The canary in the coal mine. I'm the canary in the coal mine when it comes to allergy season. I'm there to tell you, yes, it is coming, or it is here. So always appreciate that. Love partnering with, of course, our friends at Castle Hill Cidery, with Johan Torres at GBS Financial Services, and with Forward Adelante, the premier Latino networking group here in Charlottesville, Virginia. So we got a lot to cover today.
We certainly do.
Looking forward to it tremendously. So I say we jump right into it. If that's good with you.
Absolutely. No, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Let's do it. All righty. So we are excited to welcome to the show our first guest for today. She is Stacey Chapman. She is the owner of Westwind Flowers. Stacey, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Stacey.
No, it's wonderful to have you on. So for those who don't know you, aren't familiar, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started Westwind.
So I am an Orange County resident, and we started Westwind in 2019. We had kind of been throwing around the idea, I say we, my husband and I have been throwing around the idea for a little while about working in or producing flowers for the local community and for the wholesale community. And we started in 2019, got all of our fields ready to go and turned over and started planting, ready for spring of 2020, and we all know what happened in spring of 2020. So that's how we got started, and we just continue to grow every year and continue to try to involve ourselves within the community as much as possible every year. So
basically what you're saying is you literally grow maybe most of the flowers that you put together?
We grow everything that we sell.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Everything that we sell. So for everything from in the spring, from daffodils to peonies, and right now it's dahlia season. So we grow everything that we sell, definitely.
Absolutely, that's amazing. That's amazing. So what are some of the? I'm curious. What are some of the flowers that you grow? Types of things that people can obtain?
Yeah. So early spring is daffodils and ranunculus and anemones. Then your snapdragons and all your filler flowers, such as I can't even think of them. Some larkspur and that kind of stuff. midsummer sunflowers, more larkspur, dianthus, beautiful lisianthus. Then we kind of move into lily season and then dahlia season for the fall. So yeah, things that you don't often find in your local big box stores sometimes.
Absolutely.
And most of these bulbs.
No, everything from seeds to bulbs to corms
Okay.
to those kinds of things. Yes.
All right, because I was thinking from the perspective of growing flowers, like obviously the things like the dahlias and tulips and things. Those are bulbs,
Those
right?
are bulbs.
How about gladiolas? Do you grow gladiolas too?
I have not grown gladiolas.
One of my favorite.
But yeah, people have said you should grow those, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe next year. There's always next year.
There's always next year, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know it's interesting. I went on your website. I mean, it's beautiful, the flowers that you grow and so forth. But there's different ways and interesting ways to receive flowers. I know there's like a harvest club and so forth. Can you tell us a little bit about the ways that people can receive flowers from the farm?
Yeah, so we do wholesale to some florists and designers in the area, and we do that through a program or a collective called Central Virginia Flower Collective. So that's one way. So I would encourage people to ask for local flowers when they go to their florist.
Okay.
And number two, you can also buy directly from us through our shares or subscriptions programs.
Okay.
And some of those are delivery and some of those are pick up on the farm. Then we do private pick your owns events. And then we're doing a public ticketed pick your own event on the 24th of September and October 1st. And those are just strictly pick your own dahlias. So
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. So if people want, they can come to the farm and actually pick their own flowers.
Yes,
They can.
that's
go through-
correct.
Oh,
yeah, so they
wow.
can enjoy the peacefulness of being on the farm and being able to pick what they want from the field. So
And how big is the farm?
we grow on about 2 acres. We have a
Okay.
full acre in production.
Okay.
So
And
From
how
one
how
form
how
to the
wide
other.
are like the rows of flowers that you can plant? Is it 2 feet, 12 inches?
So we do 50 by 50 foot blocks.
Okay.
And then within those blocks, we do 3 by 50 foot rows.
Okay.
So there's 10 rows in a block. We
Gotcha.
call them blocks.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's quite a bit growing out there right now. Even.
Wow. So every season you literally, in some cases, have to plant the seeds, right? So get them in at the right time and
Yes.
cultivate them and feed them and
Yep.
and hope that not too much rain, not too little rain, that kind of thing.
That's
How did
correct,
you do this
yeah.
year with all the? I mean, at least here in Charlesville, it seems like we just got rain every day.
Oh, we got a lot of rain. We
Okay.
don't usually get that much rain in July, that's for sure. Everything was looking great, including the weeds. So
That's what I said.
it was more work trying to maintain the weeds and the grass than it probably was the flowers this year. So.
I would imagine. Well, the problem with the weeds is you're trying to prevent them from.
Right, they were competing, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
But it was beautiful, and it provides for a beautiful fall season, that's for
Yeah,
sure. So.
yeah. Yeah, I saw you, I think it was on a picture, you were holding these beautiful hydrangea.
Hydrangeas,
So do you
yes.
have those too?
Yes, we do.
Because they're
Yes, we do.
beautiful. And now, because I think those were blue,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I know they also pink, and of course it depends on the acidity. So do you force them to have different colors?
I'm not going to fight the soil as much as
Okay.
possible, and so the soil around here is very acidic. So
Yes.
we let them do the thing in blue.
Okay.
So there's
Yeah.
plenty of people who might want a more purple or more pink one, but I'm not going to fight it. It
Okay.
is what it is. So working with nature and working with your soil as much as possible is probably best instead of trying to fight it.
I
So-
agree.
makes a
I
lot of
agree.
sense.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
that's the way to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how do you decide in a given year what flowers to cultivate or what to grow? Does it determine what you're feeling, or certain flowers will do better on certain soil than others? How do you decide in a given year, okay, this is what we're going to do this year?
It's really been kind of experiment, trial and error, really. What does well in the soil, what sells well in the community, what people like. We don't grow roses for a specific reason. There's the insect pressure is just too much. And a lot of roses don't really like the humidity of Virginia.
I
That being
understand.
said, there are some that are bred that do. But we're just, try to do it the way that nature is intended and try to stick with what's going to work in our area. So, but trial and error a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Exactly.
No, that's
Lots of
interesting.
errors.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, because I know in our garden we have a few roses, and it's like at spring they're looking
Yes.
great, and all of a sudden, I mean, just like this, they get all that mold, and it's just so hard to keep them going. I mean, they'll come back the next year, but it just feels like throughout the whole summer season, where you hope to see nice roses, it's just during spring, and then I mean, this year we've had luck. I don't know how because it's rained so much, but it's a challenge growing flowers. I have to admit,
Yeah, it's just it's learning. It's trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work.
What works
so.
exactly.
Now, do you have any challenges with deer, rabbits, other animals that enjoy flowers, or is it properly kind of fenced in or whatever?
We have some fencing around to prevent deer because we have a lot of deer pressure in the area.
Yeah.
We have been fighting groundhogs this year. We've caught a few of them. Rabbit, not so much. Insect pressure really comes from the June bugs, June beetles and that kind of thing. So,
the Japanese beetles?
Yeah, Japanese beetles. And so bugs have their own season too.
Right.
And they're attracted to certain plants and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we do have the pressure, but you either learn to work with it or figure out how to work around it without sprays.
Yeah, no, of course,
So.
yeah.
Which really is, it's one of the beauties of entrepreneurship that the audience loves we love asking about this because an entrepreneur really is someone who's trying to, it all stops with you, so it's trying to work with what's out there, putting out fires sometimes, taking up challenges. I mean, what's kind of been your experience from the entrepreneur side of saying, all right, what's it like to be a business owner as well as, because we know there's a lot goes into being a business owner as well as just growing the flowers.
Yeah, so it's not just the farming. It's not just, I mean, that's one aspect of this whole business. It's from seeding to cultivating to harvesting. That's one end of it. And then it's marketing and sales, and then it's working with contracts and trying to figure out where the best place is to do the sales. So it's all of it. And if I could have somebody for each section, for each portion of the business, it'd be great. But we're not quite there yet.
It's the growth phase.
Right.
It's the growth phase.
Absolutely,
phase, yes.
absolutely.
To start up.
But I have to admit that your field has to be more of a challenge, right? Because when you're dealing with nature, right? Nature is not it's consistent in some ways, but in other ways it's very inconsistent. So you don't know what kind of season you're going to have. So you may have a contract out there where it says, yeah, like these many daffodils or whatever else you're growing out there, and all of a sudden it's a bad season, whatever. That's got to be challenging.
I would say yes, definitely. We don't make promises too far ahead.
Okay. Okay.
So
pretty much when the season comes
this is what we have. We can plan ahead to say this is what we have and what potentially may grow within that season or within this time frame. But I'm not going to plan a year out or anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not going to make promises that far out.
But it also gives some variety for the people who are interested in the flowers, because you will get different, right? If you're part of the share program, you will get different flowers. It's not just the same predictable flower. It's not like, all right, you're in the bot store and it's the same flowers every single month. You're getting something new and unique each time.
Oh, definitely. In fact, I delivered to a small mom and pop store the first season, and I came back in 3 weeks later, and the guy said, well, they're different flowers. And I said, well, yes, because it's a different time. It's a different season now. We've moved on. And he's like, I wasn't prepared for that. And I was, well, so yes, especially if you're a subscription holder, and you buy a full season for the subscription, you're going to get the entire season. For 3 or 4 weeks, it might be the same flower, but give it 6 weeks and you'll get something different. So,
for me, that's the beauty of it, right? Because that's the variety, that's the change, right? And so, to have that, displayed in your store or wherever you are, where, that also is changing, has to be great. Because, let's face it, when you come to fall, right, you like to see the different orange colors, the yellows. That's just beautiful, right? if you're still seeing, tulips and daffodils, it's like, that really doesn't go with fall, right? It's pumpkin season,
That's correct. Yeah, and there's definitely something to be said for seasonality, whether it is in fresh cut flowers or food.
Absolutely.
There's definitely something it's completely different. It tastes different. It looks different. It smells different. All of those things.
Exactly. The seasonality of things, I think, gives you that joy of consistency year to year, in a sense of like, yes, spring comes over, you get an idea of what spring flowers look like. It might not be the same flower,
Right.
but you have this feel of what spring flowers look like, what fall flowers look like, and you can sort of look forward to that each
Yes.
year. But then throughout the course of the year, it's not the same thing all the time. It's that you can feel the changes, and they bring out, at least for me, I don't know, maybe I'm sentimentalist on this, but they bring out different emotions.
Oh, they
Like
do.
Spring
Yeah,
flowers
exactly.
with their colors bring out different feelings than summer or fall.
Yep, I would agree. Yeah, anticipation is everything. So,
Yeah.
and then saying goodbye to it for a season
Yes.
is like, okay, well, we'll see you next year. We'll do this again next year. Yeah.
Even
be back.
spiritually, I mean, just feel, the change in season, the change in flowers, food.
Yes.
You just feel it makes you feel good. It makes you, it's just like, it's like Christmas. Like you can't have Christmas every single day because it wouldn't have the same impact, right? But when
Exactly.
Christmas comes, you look forward to, at least in our household, the traditional certain Christmas foods, cookies, whatever.
Cookies.
So you look forward to that, and it's an enjoyment, right? So same thing with the seasons and flowers and foods. That's the way, at least it's the way I look at life, change and seasonality.
Absolutely,
Great.
absolutely. So I'm curious, where, because I know that you've got the farm, you have this real love for the cultivation, the preservation of things. Where do you kind of see the farm going? If you had to say in the next 5 or so years, what's kind of your
Such a hard question.
such a hard question? I know.
Such a hard
Just thinking
question.
6 months
All right,
ahead. You're
6
asking
months.
5
All right,
years.
all right, we'll do 6 months.
Well, in
per
6
year.
months, I'll be seeding again. So we'll be prep. We'll
Okay.
be right in the thick of spring at that point. And so, the hope is for us to be around for many more years and to continue to increase our customer base and continue to provide fresh flowers for the communities around us and
Yeah.
involve more people in the idea of flower local, eat local, buy local,
Yeah.
all those things, flower local too.
Absolutely,
So-
yeah.
No, I think you're exactly right. I think I love that idea of doing that locally. I think people are beginning to come around to it from a food perspective because I think they see, all right, food is something I consume,
Right.
and I would like to put into my body that which is local. And I think we're getting there. I love the idea of getting there on things that which you enjoy, just by sight, by smell.
Right.
That there is something special about not just, yes, supporting a local business, because by supporting you, they're also supporting other local businesses,
Right,
but
yes.
also to enjoy that which is the fruit of where we actually live.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The foods, the wines, the ciders, and then definitely. I mean, when you think about it, the flowers, because as you said, as Stacy said, I suspect there are certain flowers that you can't grow here in
That's
Virginia. It's
correct.
impossible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So to be able to enjoy that where you are, as far as where you live, to enjoy that type of flower, I think it's part of where you are. I mean, it's part of how you feel good.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and again, back to the seasonality at the same time. There's certain things that grow in certain seasons here, and in other parts of the country that grow in different seasons.
Right.
It may be the same flower, but it's a different season. But we can't grow bird of paradise, and we can't grow protea here. That's impossible, or we get too cold. But yes, the uniqueness of the area in which we live, and the seasons in which we go through. So
It's
regard-
special. It's special. You have a positive comment. Nicholas says he met you at the Today y Mañana event in August, and Stacy is such a sweet person. So excited to have her on the show.
Thank
So he is saying that. Thank you. We've got Michael McNulty watching the show this morning. So thank you for joining us, Michael. And so always love to ask before we let people go, where can people find you, either both physically but also online, connecting you, social media, to get in touch and get some flowers?
So the best place to find us is on, a few different places. Instagram at Westwind Flowers 2019. Our Facebook page, Westwind Flowers. Our website, westwindflowers.com. And those are the best places to contact me. Private events, we all do that through email. And then, of course, those are the best places to find me. So, yeah.
Terrific.
Absolutely. So
Our email's attached to our website. So,
super easy. So westwindflowers.com.
westwindflowers.com.
Westwindflowers.com. Westwind Flowers on Facebook. Westwind Flowers 2019
on
On
Instagram.
Instagram. Yep.
On Instagram. So
And that's got to be great, the Instagram, because, the pictures you can put on Instagram
Yeah.
of the flowers, that's got to be amazing.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
they're beautiful. The website
Yeah.
itself website is a work of art
Absolutely.
in and
I
of
know.
itself with all those beautiful flowers.
I'm glad
So.
to hear that because I struggle with that website.
Oh, it's
Nice.
very nice. I did, when I saw it, I'm like, all right, sign me up. Sign me up. So, Stacy, just thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
for having me.
Thank you.
I
Absolute
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And so we'll go ahead and rotate here from one fantastic entrepreneur
To another. Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. No, it's interesting. You listen to different people, different entrepreneurs, and what they do, how they do it. The challenges they have, and you really appreciate the the different challenges and strategies that you have to have for the different business. And we all recognize, and in every small business, there's the accounting, there's the marketing, there's the administration, and then there's that which you love doing, which is in this case for Stacy is growing flowers and cultivating flowers and seeing the different changes in season. But it's just interesting how you see everybody has, again, that little thing that they really love
Yep.
to do.
Exactly.
And then unfortunately they sit back and go, oops, I also got to do this, I got to do that.
All the
I
other
gotta do-"
business
exactly.
things.
Which are important.
And that is, I think the beauty is that is the sacrifice.
Yes.
Right, and the hard work that entrepreneurs put in. In other words, that saying, like, if you love what you'll do, you'll never work a day in your life, right? With entrepreneurs, I think it's only partly true.
That's right.
I mean, like, yes, we love what we do, right? But with being a small business owner, there's a lot of hard work
Yes.
you've got to put in that's connected to what you do, but it's not exactly what you do. In other words, like Stacey said, it's not just you sit there, you grow flowers, and they magically sell themselves.
Exactly.
Right? You need to put together the infrastructure, the website, the things you have to do to get those flowers out there to people, the delivery, having people come up, coordinating it. There's a lot that goes into it beyond just like the thing you love to do. So there's a lot of work that still has to happen.
Yeah, I always
to
tell
make that
people, like,
passion.
there's a lot to turning on that light switch on and off in the morning. There's a lot that goes on in between those turning on the lights and off, that people don't think about.
Exactly. Well, and speaking of people who can help you
With
turn
the
the
light
lights on and off,
I'll make sure that electricity is
make sure
really
that
working.
the things in your home are working correctly. We are very excited to welcome to the show this morning Chris Jeffery. He is the owner of First Choice Home Maintenance. Chris, thanks so much for joining
morning,
us
Chris.
this morning.
Thank you for having me, guys.
No, it's great to have you on. For those who don't know, so Chris is he's married to Claudia Cruz Jeffery, who has been on our show before. She
That's
is known
right.
as Dulce de Leche.
Oh, yes.
So those
Yeah.
amazing alfajores and the pionono and everything that we've had. So you've seen Today Mañana audience knows what we're talking about here. So I don't think I need to even describe how good.
You had to say dulce de leche, though. You
I
just
had to say- I had to say
all of a
dulce de
sudden,
leche
I'm
to
hungry
200.
now.
Exactly.
All right?
So, but Chris, for those who don't know you, this is their first time meeting you in the audience. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you decided to start First Choice.
Yeah, so I moved to this area about 11 years ago and met my wife like as soon as I got here. So, we worked all over town in different restaurants and venues and in the food and beverage industry. And then one day I told my wife, I'm like, I'm not happy doing what I'm doing anymore, so I think I want to try something new and start my own business. And so I think it was 2017, I started my first business. I was a process server, serving like subpoenas and summons for attorneys in the area. And then same thing kind of happened. I just kind of got burnt out, and I was just tired of driving around all over the state, chasing people down, like
I can imagine.
having them
Come
yell
here,
at
come
me.
here, I got a
and,
subpoena for you.
Yeah, come on, you got to go to court. Your wife wants to divorce you. So I just, I was in the basement one day messing around, fixing something, and I was looking around at like all these tools I've acquired once I bought a house. I'm like, I really like this. Like, I'm like down here like all day, like just polishing stuff and just playing with tools. And I remember one day I told one of my neighbors, I'm like, I have all these tools down here. Like, I think I want to just try to do this on the side, like helping people fix things. And within like 2 months, I kind of wound down the first business, and I was doing this full time, and it's still evolving. At first, I kind of called myself like a handyman kind of business. And as it evolved, I realized like I can kind of track what people are calling me for over and over. So now I'm doing mostly like professional window cleaning and gutter cleaning, power washing. So yeah, it's still evolving, and I'm trying to steer it in that direction, like exterior cleaning kind of business.
Okay.
I mean, that's so important, especially in this area. I mean, with between the humidity and the pollen and the weather, like anything that is left outside, including the walls of your home,
mold will grow.
Well, yeah, exactly. You will need some help with it.
Absolutely.
Let's put it that way.
So if somebody calls you, they say they have some work that they need done inside the house. So what type of work can you do, and also from the outside besides the cleaning, the gutters, etc. Is there other things that you can help fix, for example?
So with the handyman business, I'm kind of limited on what I can do because of the contractor laws in Virginia.
Okay.
Anything over usually $1,000, you have to have a contractor's license. Like even for painting, for example, I can't charge more than $1,000 unless I'm a painting contractor.
Didn't know that.
I can like replace an outlet or a ceiling fan, but I can't run the wiring to make a new one, for example.
Gotcha.
Or I can replace a sink faucet, but I can't run the plumbing to the sink.
Okay.
So people usually call me for the small jobs that the real contractors don't want to bother with.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
But which is important. I mean, especially
somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. Well, and especially in today's age, right? It's not easy if you've got an issue and you need it resolved. It's not easy to find a contractor or a subcontractor that's going to get there on time. I mean, you'll be sitting there saying, "What do you mean I got to wait like 3-4 months for you to show up to fix? I just need this faucet fixed.
Exactly.
I don't need my whole house repaired."
Yeah.
So it's great to have someone like you out there where you can say, "All right, I know I can call Chris and first because he will get there, he'll get the job done, right? And I don't have to be sitting here for 6 months with a leaky faucet because the contractor needs to come in and do this job."
Right.
Yeah, because those, the contracts, etc., what they want truly is the big jobs, right? So if you call them and say, my faucet is leaking, they're sitting there saying, I got to take an hour to get there and probably an hour to fix it. Or I don't have the parts, so I have to go back, an hour to get back. They're looking and saying that for us, it's not worth it,
Right.
And if it is, they're going to charge you a lot of money, right? Somebody like Chris, where this is what he does or what he can do, it's much more beneficial. So,
yeah, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Got some fans who are watching. Thank you, Elizabeth Urpí, watching the show this morning. Gracias, Elimelech de los Santos, watching the show this morning. Gracias por escuchar.
por escuchar.
Por escuchar el programa. So you got some fans. We got and there's even more. There's like another 5 people watching the show this morning. We got some fans here for First Choice Home Maintenance. So curious. So I mean, what's been your experience on the entrepreneurship side? Like kind of what we were talking with Stacy about, the things that you have to do on the side to be. To have your own small business. What have been some like challenges, opportunities, things you've enjoyed?
Well, like I said, this is my second business, so I kind of took what I learned. It took me a few years to learn it with the first business, but like getting on Google and Yelp, making a website, doing the market research for keywords and the target audience and all of that, I kind of already, I knew some of that stuff, so it really helped. Like when I started this business in January of this year, I mentioned earlier, it was like just a few months later, like I was already doing it full time because I got my business out there and people were aware of it a lot faster than the first time. But there's a lot that goes into it, like invoicing and SEO and website building and just all marketing and do I have the tools to do this job or that job, and how long is this going to take me? And there's just a lot of planning and stuff behind the scenes. It's not just showing up and fixing it. You got to get the customers to call you. So
exactly,
that's the first thing. Yeah, I mean, you need the customers to know who you are and the fact that you do this for a living. And second, I mean, it's true. It's like you have to be able to look at the job and say, if I take this job, that means I have to buy these particular tools. Is it worth it for me? In other words, am I really going to be able to use these tools another time, or is it a one-time deal? Because for a one-time deal, you might say, this is not for me, right? I mean, so it's, there's like Chris said, behind the scenes, there's all these little things that as a new business, especially a business where tools are required, you're sitting there and going, do I really need these now, or should I wait for later on where I know I'm going to definitely need these tools more often, right? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. All the little ins and outs of being a small business owner.
Exactly. Yeah.
That come into play.
I mean, every business has his or hers kind of idiosyncrasies, right? In the case of Stacy is, the flowers, the land, the seeding, etc. In the case of Chris is, I need all this equipment to do my job, but at the same time, if it's a off the beaten job, and yes, it looks lucrative, but man, I need all these other tools, etc. to do this. You have to now weigh, is this good enough for me? And long term, how does that fit my budget? How does that fit what I'm doing?
Exactly. I comment, Claudia Cruz Jeffery says, good
Who's
morning,
that?
everyone. Do we know her? Good morning, everyone. Here drinking a cup of coffee, enjoying the show. So
she's having a café con leche. She just didn't want to say that. And she's probably having one of those cookies, the dulce de leche cookies.
If I was Claudia, I'd be having one of the alfajores myself.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. But they're drinking. I always love it when someone actually is having the café con leche and watching the show. Because I say it every Thursday, and when someone's actually drinking a cup of coffee, watching the show, I'm like, yes, thank you. So thanks for speaking of Claudia. So I mean, one thing I wanted to ask, which is really neat, is we've had on like entrepreneur teams before, where like the husband and wife own the same business, and they work together in it. You two are really neat because you've got you're both entrepreneurs in your own right, and then of course you're a team because you're married. So I'm curious, what's it like being like an entrepreneurial family that way? What are ways you like to encourage and support each other and work with each other on the two separate businesses? I'm always curious what that was like.
Well, I'm a little bit more, I'm always like all day, like even on the way here, I'm like looking at a problem, driving down the road, and I'm like, I wonder how much it would cost to start a business to, So like I'm constantly thinking of things, and my wife does get a little bit annoyed at things that I might buy or do sometimes because I'm constantly coming up with ideas, to the point where she even put in her wedding vows that I promise to always support all of your business ideas. But, like we bounce ideas off of each other and give each other honest opinions and feedback, whereas, maybe your friends or somebody would just try to give you the answer they think you want to hear. Like we're honest with each other. Like maybe you shouldn't do that right now, or maybe you should try it a different way. And even like with her baking, when she's busy, I'm in the kitchen helping her bake, helping her pack, and when I'm busy at my work, she'll come and help me and where she can, and so we do support each other and bounce ideas off each other all the time.
Yeah, and that's so key, to have that support network where it's not, like you said, it's not just people telling you that, oh yeah, that's a great idea, and said, oh yeah, that's a great idea, and oh yeah, that's a great idea, but sooner or later it'll be like a not great idea, and if all they ever do is say, that's great, like soon you'll make the mistake, but it's great to have this. Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So it's great that you support each other in that way, to have that person in your corner who's like, they're in your corner, right? They want what's best for you, but they're able to say, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Take a step back, and especially if you've had other businesses and you already have a business, it's probably not bad when someone take a step back and say, compare the two businesses, which one has a greater potential for growth and profit, right? Because let's face it, I mean, as you mentioned before in first choice home maintenance, I mean, the home ownership is growing, right? And there's just enormous amount of people buy a home and they don't have a clue how to fix things, right? So something goes wrong, it's like,
That's me.
you sit there, you go, I need to call somebody, and then you pick up I was going to say you pick up Yellow Pages, which don't exist anymore, but you go online, it's like, you got so many. So knowing somebody that you know and can trust and
Trust.
say, hey, I need help here because this is not working, that's not working. To have somebody that you can depend on, I think it's great, you know. And like I said, that, you know, the home ownership and is growing, and even rentals. I mean, sometimes things happen that you just need to call somebody.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're there, then you're expected to take care of yourself,
Yeah.
even if you rent. You don't
Yeah.
just have to be a homeowner to call up Chris. You know, we got a comment on the first choice page. Tyler Fernier, correct me, I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong, says, I support more tools buying.
Thank you, Tyler.
Is he a tool seller?
It's my brother. He owns,
Okay.
he owns his own construction company, so
Good for him. So you did entrepreneurial
Can you
family all
can you
around.
borrow some tools?
I could. I'd have to go to Indiana.
Oh, that doesn't work.
Actually, a couple of weeks ago, he invited me up to come help him build a fence. So I went up there for like a week and learned how to build fences.
There you go.
Beautiful. There you
So
are.
just
Exactly.
more that you can add to the repertoire.
Right.
The tools, all the things that you can do. That's fantastic, and I think people really appreciate another one. Thank you, Vanessa Parkhill, for watching the show this morning. Always got some fantastic guests joining us this morning on I Love CVille, listening to our interview here with Chris Jeffery. And so, Chris, where do you kind of see? I know it's a tough question. I had it for Stacey. Where do you kind of see yourself growing? What are some things that you really want to focus on, or that a lot of people can call you about service-wise?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned earlier, I did just start the business like 9 months ago, and over the weeks, I've realized what there's the biggest need for in our area. So I'm trying to really focus the services that I offer and narrow them down so I can get better at those services and get better equipment to do those jobs better. Like I said, window cleaning, gutter cleaning, power washing, that's really what I want to focus on. You know, and within the next year or two, I'd like to have employees and a few vehicles and maybe an office. So with my first business, it was just me, and
Yep.
if an attorney needs me, they need me. If they don't, they don't. But with this business, everybody owns a home, not just
right.
attorneys.
Yep,
So
exactly.
I saw the potential for the growth, and that's why I'm focusing on this business.
No, it's huge potential,
Yeah.
and really fantastic to have someone like you out there that people can trust and know and reach out to, whether you own a home, whether you're renting, whatever. And you're right, that's a huge need, especially here, especially the outdoors. I think a lot of us, you know, there's expertise that goes into it. There's your eye at this point. I mean, you're going to be able to look at someone and say, yeah, this is what you need. Whereas, you know, we'll just look and be like, it looks moldy, it looks old, it looks run down, like what do I do with it? And you'll be able to, you know, Chris can come out and say, all right, yeah, I know, I've seen this before.
Right.
I know what you need in this scenario.
I was going to say, probably knowing Chris, he's probably like 2 years from now, there's going to be another business, and then there's going to be a third business, and then Claudia's going to say, yeah, my husband has got 10 businesses. Because he's always thinking.
Exactly.
He's writing, he's writing on his in his card. He's probably saying,
Taking notes.
"Oh, wait a minute! I think that's a great business. I could do what that guy's doing, or that particular need."
Yep. And he did some props. Utramani de Los Angeles says, Chris Jeffery, congratulations. We are so proud of you. And Kevin Higgins, in fact, he had a great question that I wish I had seen it. It was a variant of what I just asked, that way you see yourself growing company-wise. But he also has an amazing comment for you. He said, you had an idea and you took significant risk, not really sure of what you were getting into, but you did it anyway. That's the American spirit, and very much like Steve Jobs. And he says, good for you. Keep a copy of this show. Years from now, you'll watch it and be proud of what you accomplished.
Thank you.
So thank you, Kevin Higgins, for...
Especially if
for
it becomes another Steve Jobs. I mean, that's amazing.
You've come like the Steve Jobs of contracting,
Exactly.
and we'll be sitting here, we'll be going back, and we'll say, Chris, you want to come on? And be like, you guys are too small. I'm going on CNBC tomorrow. You know, sorry, guys. But Chris, before we let you go, best way for people who want to get in touch, if they've got something they want to talk to you about, where can people get in touch with you?
They can find us online, 434windowcleaning.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at First Choice Home Maintenance, or they can call or text, because I know a lot of people are busy, 434-922-2442.
434
922 2442.
2442. There you go. You got it right there. And then 434windowcleaning.com. So super easy to find. This is live on First Choice Home Maintenance as well. We've tagged you in a lot of the posts. You can just also click that on Facebook to get to the Facebook page, which will direct you to 434windowcleaning.com, and also has the phone number on there. So be sure to reach out to Chris with your needs, particularly that outside homework that is there. And just I say, when you were talking about small business ownership, Xavier, Claudia Cruz Jeffrey, I almost didn't read it. She said, yes, and Xavier is right. I don't like to, don't get your ego too much up, but you said that you were right. So your comment on being a small business owner was right. So Chris, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, absolutely. And good luck.
Thank you. Good luck.
Absolutely.
Take care. So it's just
It's
so
great,
refreshing
it's great,
and rejuvenating. Just always meet people who you said love what they do, but also put in the hard work.
Yeah.
To be an entrepreneur. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's awesome to see that's like Kevin Hayden said, that spirit, that American spirit.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. And think about it. So, we talked about the event on Friday. Everybody there, well, not everybody, but the majority of people there in a way had their own business, right? Whether it be your real estate or mortgage broker or whatever, in a way, even though you may work for somebody else, a larger brand, you're on your own to a certain respect. It's up to you to go and attract, talent or attract, people that need your services. And you just see that spirit of people wanting to grow, right, and work hard in order to achieve a particular goal. And everybody's goal may be different. Some people maybe, I want to own a home. Some people say, no, I'd rather rent, but I'd rather do this. I'd rather travel, whatever it may be. But they have goals. And here's a country that if you have the goal, right, and you have the spirit to achieve, or to move or to work hard, it can be accomplished. I mean, it really is amazing. You go back in history in this country, and just about every nationality, you see them, how they've grown into the American dream, how they've found ways to really achieve that American dream.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, today, we talk, being Latino, obviously we talked about the Latino community a lot and the great success that they've achieved in entrepreneurship. But before the Latino community, you talk the Italian community came here. On my mom's side, the Italian community came here and became incredibly successful. The Irish came here and became incredibly successful. Even before them, late 1800s, the Germans came here and became incredibly successful. Exactly. So there's so many amazing, and we know the countries. Cuba. You come from Cuba, you can't start your own business in Cuba.
No.
Right? When, even from Spain, when Abuelita came from, after the Spanish Civil War, you couldn't start your own business and be successful.
Exactly.
In Spain, right? And in Palermo, Italy, you couldn't start your small business in Sicily and reach the success that you have here.
Exactly.
Right? So there's something special and amazing about this country, and also this community in terms of entrepreneurship, where you can come here, you can start. And when you work hard, your hard work is rewarded. And I think that's always the key, right? All our ancestors, they worked hard, right? But sometimes you go through and hard work is not rewarded.
Right.
Cuba and places like that, right? We talk about the time under a communist system, you worked hard. You get paid exactly the same as the other guy. It's predetermined. It's like, this is what you're going to be in life. Doesn't matter how hard you work or how good you are at it. This is what your value has already been predetermined by the state, and this is what you're worth. And in America, it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? You've got that. You work hard, and there's the opportunity to be rewarded. Yeah.
And the other thing that's interesting in just about when people come from different countries to America, right? Sometimes, we kind of say, gee, it seems like they either own restaurants or they own little, whatever. Like in the case of the Italians, there's a lot of butcher stores, a lot of, fruit stands and stuff, because it's what they knew. Remember, especially in Europe, food is so important to the culture, right? So they knew how to grow, they knew how to sell. But then what happens, little by little, right? Their children, maybe they work with them, but then their children now begin to go to school, to college, and before you know it, once again, now they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're store owners, business owners, whatever it may be. And that's, again, the beauty of this country is that you come and that which you know how to do well, whatever it may be farming. You can get to do the farming, and then little by little, it's like, well, my children don't want to do farming. They want to go to school and do something else. Now the ability for them to do that is there, right? And so, again, that's the, what this country allows people to do, and that's why I always say it's so important to buy local, do the best that you can do, support the local community, because that is the backbone of this country, and we don't ever want to lose that. Because once you lose that,
it's hard to.
Yeah,
we've seen it's hard to get back.
Yeah, no, you never go back. You never go back.
Our forebears came from.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
So that's great.
It is. It's been a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Just thanks so much to the audience just for your contributions, for the great comments, the support, for just watching and knowing that helping our entrepreneurs know that there's people out there that are supporting what they're doing really means a lot. So we really appreciate everyone who commented, liked the show, shared the show this morning. So really appreciate that. Next week, another fantastic entrepreneur we're going to have on Ken Farmer. He is really interesting because he is an antiques authenticator.
Oh, wow.
So like, when he's at the show, like the Antique Roadshow,
exactly.
They bring you something, and there's that guy who figures out, like, is this real? What's where did it come from? What is it?
And that's got to be again, that's got to be so hard to do because he's like, Jan loves to go antiquing, right? And so you go to these stores, et cetera, and so sometimes you look at things and you say, is that really an antique? Is it a reproduction? How old is it? And so to have the ability to look at something and say, here's why we know it's an antique. You take a look at this, or you take a look at that, or how this was made, and it's a talent, and you have to study, you have to stay on top of it, and become very good at it.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm very interested to learn about that and that line of work. So he's going to be joining us next week. Just a quick thank you to Evan Hiddens. He says, thanks for keeping us connected. Thank you, sir, for staying connected.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
And being connected to what we do.
Without those listening and watching, there'd be no connection.
It's just you and I talking into cyberspace.
Like we do in the office. Just you and I talking.
Exactly.
Except we got two other guys that some of them
they're
sit in.
They're forced to listen to us.
They sit in. I don't know.
I mean, listen, Michael, when you work in a family business, they have no choice but to listen to us.
That's right.
We really appreciate the Today Mañana audiences. They choose to listen to the people that we bring on, the amazing people.
Absolutely.
So really appreciate that. As always, love being presented by Emergent Financial Services. As always, love being powered by our friends at the gym, at Tassel Hill Cider, Aqua CVille Hand Car Wash, our friends Midell and Chit at Craddock Serious Insurance, GBS Financial Services, Forward Adelante, the premier Latino networking group here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Thank you again to everyone who came out to the Amplify Your Voice conference.
Yes.
That was just an amazing turnout. Really loved it, and we look forward to future ones. So definitely, there will be. I have no doubt there will be some future Amplify Your Voice and other partnerships that are done, and you can definitely keep your eyes peeled for future Today, Mañana, and events. Forward Adelante events. They will definitely. We will.
Can't wait for those.
They're always so much fun. I mean, that was such a blast
really
at Castle Hill Cider.
Yeah, they really are
on the 31st. So just so much. What a good group to bring together and really just support.
What's nice is you're networking, but what it feels so good because one, we've already had a lot of people have been on the show or know about the show, or and then you come and they're like friends. You already know them, and it's just the conversation is so much more lively and it's enjoyable. It's I've enjoyed it enormously. It's funny. I was thinking about literally we were getting in the car today. And for some reason, it snapped back as to a year and a half ago when you and I first got into the car coming here. And what a different feeling, because I come here now, much more excited, right? No nerves anymore, no butterflies in the stomach. And it's just the comparison of that first day where it's like, what did we get ourselves into?
Why did we let Jerry talk us into this?
Why did we say yes to Jerry? I mean, I don't understand it. We know how to say no. What happened there? So, but now it's, I enjoy the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy meeting people. I mean, I always did, but to be able to just meet people like this and be
I
able
just
to
really
speak with them.
moved by the
Yeah,
response
yeah.
that we've had.
I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, like I said, there's tons of small businesses, but when you get to see them here and listen to them, what they do, how they do it, the challenges they have, you sit there
It
and go,
inspires you.
yeah, wow, I didn't know that those challenges even existed, because that's not the field I'm in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's great. Again, I mean, I enjoy what I do, and thanks to you, because you make it so much easier for me. Because if I had to do what you did, this show would not go quite as well.
I'm sure you get the hang of it.
I don't think so.
And of course, a big thank you always. I Love CVille Network, Judah behind the camera. That is certainly irreplaceable.
Oh, forget
you and
about
I
it.
would not know how to operate
Well, this little guy.
all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Whatever it takes for us to get two people's computers or
Yeah, it's
or
amazing.
phones.
We sit here talking, and once in a while you're talking. I look left, and he's clicking and looking and clicking and looking. I said, "What's he doing? I mean, what's he doing?" But I mean, whatever he's doing,
Whatever
it's
he's
like
doing
he's
is
got
working.
600. He's got 600. It's like an octopus. He's got 600 things going at the same time.
So definitely appreciate his hard work and the I Love
Absolutely.
CVille Network. As always, appreciate all our partners and Emergent Financial Services. Appreciate you, our wonderful audience, for your comments. As I always say, be sure to share the show. Send us any entrepreneurs you know. Really, I mean, like, we do not charge people to come on the show.
That's right.
So anyone that you feel would love to share their story, or maybe needs a little push to share their story, send them our way. We're happy to have them on and feature them. So definitely appreciate all you do. We look forward to seeing everyone next Thursday. But until that time,
That's right.
as we always say here on the show, hasta mañana.